This spring, the Zeph Center in central Toledo decided a garden would be the perfect platform for their work with youth and families. They called on Toledo Botanical Gardens GROWs program for assistance in creating and sustaining their garden. Their garden now serves as a natural setting for youth to build skills, abilities, and relationships that enhance all areas of their lives.
There was a kid that we have a pre-test because we were always trying to track everything, and one of the things is they try to name as many vegetables as they can, and I forgot about this story. At the beginning of the season, he wrote down, this was last season, he wrote down jalapenos and he wrote down cheese. I swear to you, those are literally the only things that he said. And we have asparagus that's coming up. You know, it comes up every season, and he points to that and he's like, "What's that over there?" And I'm like, "This is some asparagus, man. You've never tried this?" So, you know, we snip off a couple, we have him take it home, and he doesn't mention it again to us. But the next time I hear him like talking to one of his friends that's also in the program, he's like, "Oh man, you never had asparagus before, man. You gotta cut off some of this, you gotta try it, you gotta grill it up, put some lemon juice and all this stuff." It was just like, it's nice to see the way, you know, they internalize the message, and it's not something that they have to recite back to you, but it's clear that they've learned from it and they've like found value in it. So I think that's probably my favorite story. I forgot all about that.
Well, I can tell you from the start, when we started with strings, we would go and we measured out 50 feet in 4 directions, or actually 4 squares, so it's a quadrant for each one. And we did that. It was still cold out and it hadn't even stopped snowing yet, really.
It is a dragon's egg. It's a cucumber, but they call it a dragon's egg because I guess if you were to look at it at a certain angle, it would look like a dragon's egg. And me being a sci-fender, had to plant it. I mean, come on.
This is how our entire garden looked a year ago. I think we've got 15 or 16 raised beds out here. I think he's taking a look at some cucumbers over here. Got cucumbers and corn. Walk through here, see everything that we're growing. We actually just put in a bunch of clover right here, and we also have beans that are planted. So all of these are going to be doing nitrogen fixing, and they're going to be building the soil. So next year we're going to grow corn in these 2 sections. So we're trying to build everything together so that things work out over more than just one season, so that we don't have to put in a lot of chemical inputs. We want to try to limit the amount of chemical inputs that we use. We want to try to build the soil naturally.
What you do with a plant is you take it in and nourish it. It's basically like having your own pet. People don't see it that way because it's just a plant to some people. But it's a living, breathing, needing nutrients thing where you have to care for, and when it produces the fruit, you're just so ecstatic. Like when my radishes came in, I had radishes like in the first week because they're more of a cold winter type plant, and they just like grew instantly, and they were huge. Wow, it was just awesome.
There's a lot of mental health interventions that are about correcting what's wrong, you know what I mean, or like quote unquote correcting what's wrong, but there aren't as many programs that are about fulfilling and creating this desire or building this skill set, or you know, doing things that are, I guess, of a, I don't know, like a positive thing, where they're actually building a skill set, where they're actually learning and growing, where they're building that self-confidence, that ability to grow, that ability to problem solve, because we don't always give them the answers. We have them work to figure these things out. So I think it's a really natural environment for them to have an opportunity to experiment, where it's a safe space and where they can build these skills in a natural way, where it's not explicitly defined as like mental health work, you know? It's like we provide these positive results, but we're not saying this is what's wrong, let's work on this issue, you know? It's like it just takes care of itself almost.
Well, we want to spread things, so we want gardening to sweep Toledo. That's really how we feel about it, because the more things you have planted, the healthier your city is and the more economy it builds. Because if they're buying things from like California, that money goes to California. If they're buying things from here that were locally grown and planted and cared for, then the money goes back into Toledo. I'd say Earth is where everything comes from. If you want something done, you go to the Earth. You want your food, you plant it, you grow it, you eat it.
1 in 4 people in Toledo live below the poverty level. 1 in 5 Lucas County residents faces hunger on a daily basis. This year alone, Toledo Botanical Gardens GROWs program has provided assistance in feeding over 6,500 individuals in 125 community gardens. Your financial support assists people in becoming engaged with the powerful and meaningful work of growing their own food, taking back their neighborhoods, and deliberately and joyfully improving their own health. We hope you agree that together, we will transform our community, one garden at a time.
It's really fun when you think about all the work that was put into it, and then you look and you're like, I helped do this.